take notes over being the sharer.
You two are all right. That's great.
That's why we make good teammates, right?
Yep.
All right, we are recording.
Back in the day.
Trent, if you want, you can use the Google Doc to take the notes on, or you could just have it separate and then just copy and paste it like Kelly did last time on that session 2 vision activity. So whatever you want to do.
Got it.
If you guys open up that session 2, though, it has the D46 vision there and kind of what we're supposed to pick that apart a little bit and then maybe jump into what we want to become, things like that.
Session 2.
Is it the actual like Google form that we're looking at?
Yeah, I just wouldn't. Only Trent's going to fill it out, but
Okay.
The rest of it has the vision on there for us, though.
I don't know.
I opened it just so I could reread it. Paula, do you want me to read what it says?
But yeah, you know what? Do you want me to present? Would that be helpful for you or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can just look at it.
Well, it's so small when you present, though. That's why. But
That's right.
that's
Unless
fine.
you change the vision or change it, right? Let's see if it makes it better. If it's oh god, I got 48,000 tabs open. Hold on.
Oh man.
Pick the right one.
That's every day, man. Every day.
Yeah, I have a vision of them open.
All day long. You see this now? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Are you looking at the recipe? I'm cooking later. No.
Go Vince.
All right.
All right.
So, the vision for our school district to provide exemplary education that promotes continued success in our district, high school, and beyond.
My first thought is that it's very wordy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not very future facing, I would say. It's just pretty lackluster.
it's kind of general,
Yeah.
vague.
I was
Right.
also thinking of
The fact that
our past conversation where we were talking about like becoming productive citizens and things like that. Would that more fit into the vision? Trent's little tagline fit into the vision as opposed to the mission?
I
Yeah,
think you're
So
right.
the vision is why we exist. The mission is where we are going. I took that note
Mhm.
as he repeated it. I wrote it down.
How to post it.
I did. I got post-its all over the place.
So do I. Attendance.
So if we're talking about why we exist, it's very wordy without being clear.
No, so mission is why
Yeah.
we exist, and vision is
No,
where we're
vision.
going. Yeah.
No, vision is where we're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Vision is where we're going. I had it backwards. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where we want to be in 5 or 10 years.
But not necessarily just us, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the product of our school district, where we want our students to be kind of in 5 or 10 years too, correct?
True. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of took it as, where do we as an organization want to be? Like, where do we want to put our emphasis so that it benefits the kids? If I looked at his examples, the first thing that jumped out to me was, we know that student achievement is tied with student engagement. And I thought about engagement right away with what we're doing now, what we've gone through for the past year, what we know of good teaching, and trying to marry those two to increase student engagement to the highest point possible. I've thought about, having different cohorts of kids throughout the district be able to be in a class together like this, potentially bringing back our gifted programs, K-5, because we got rid of those years ago, but because we can bring them across district into something like this. Having kids be able to opt into in-person or remote learning, because some kids are excelling in this format, right? Offering more diverse curriculum that's engaging to students, because we can use our resources differently than we are currently able to do. So that's kind of, to me, where sort of putting our stamp on what future education looks like, as opposed to the idea of being constrained to one building, one faculty, 30 to 1 kids, things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it also made me think about how we have had to rethink what teaching and learning looks like through all of this, which hasn't been a negative. With so many things being told on the negative, we as educators and parents have had to relook at how we do things, both in the classroom and out. And so that got me thinking as well, like looking forward, the classroom of the old isn't necessarily what we want moving forward.
Right. That, to me,
Kind
would
of
be the
building
biggest.
on what you were saying, Vince.
Yeah, no, that, to me, that would be the biggest travesty if we went all the way back to where we were, right? If we didn't take any element of what we've done for the last year and implement that in our classrooms, that would make me incredibly sad. It's like a missed opportunity.
100%.
At the beginning of this year, when we're like, "Gah," but now it's like, you never thought you would say that then.
Yeah, if there's one takeaway from this pandemic, it has sure made us think outside the lines. Outside
100%.
think of teaching in different ways. And may I just commend you all, because you really have taken it and run with it. Yeah, I just from what I hear from my daughter and my grandchildren and what have you, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
But we need, and definitely don't go back. I mean, we need to find ways to
build upon it.
stand on this.
Yeah.
For the kids.
So now, going back to the things that you were saying, would we want to necessarily, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, so forgive me. Would we want to include those in our vision, or would those things that you were saying work us towards our vision? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I would phrase it with the big idea of student engagement. And that's where I would then build, what does that mean? All the different things that we could do to increase student engagement. We know that challenging kids through a differentiated curriculum creates student engagement. We know that creating classes that are more closely tied to student interests increases student engagement. Giving students the opportunity to learn in an environment where they feel most safe will increase student engagement.
That SEL piece has come into play a lot too, and that goes with your safety thing. That's what made me think about it.
Yeah, I like the safety part of it too in the SEL.
As a former middle school teacher, a lot of what kids deal with is not learning. It's a lot of social, emotional pressures that they pack up every morning and they come to school with, right? There are a lot of kids that feel very comfortable in this setting because they don't have to focus on that each and every day. And now I don't want it to be, and then it would be a marrying of the two, right? Like there are obviously there's some very real benefits to getting together and to being on a team and to collaboratively problem solving together, things like that. So, but I think that's where you could keep your community schoolhouse, but yet use technology to kind of bring in groups from all across the district. You know,
So almost like,
it's mind blowing. I'm thinking, oh my God, the logistics behind it would be incredible. But how awesome would that be to completely revamp it, to do something that nobody's done or hasn't done?
Kind of like what you're saying, Vince, is, you know, you may have a group of kids that are across, you know, 4th grade in all 7 buildings or 5 buildings, wherever they're at, that you could bring together in a remote setting to sit with their teacher for one period a day and pull all those students from all those schools together.
Sure.
And work them all together. You could do something along those lines. Is, you know, when you start talking about bringing this technology and learning what we learned over the last year into what our future could bring, there's no boundaries to the internet.
I was thinking even bigger, connect the students with students in other countries.
Sure.
For diversity, we talked about, we want diversity, see how students learn and think, their thought processes, so that our students are more worldly.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but an interesting byproduct of this year is when students start the year with us and then they move, they have the option of finishing the year with us, provided their parents can provide transportation and things like that. And, you know, some kids do because they didn't move very far away, and other kids obviously move so far that they have to change schools. This year with remote learning, that's going to be, we've got kids in Texas that are finishing the year with us, in Maryland. I have a little girl that's in India who goes to school from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. You know what I mean? Like, it's mind-boggling, and that it forces you to think, like, this isn't just Haynesville that I'm working in, right? Like, we've got kids in different time zones and in different countries. Like, it's pretty awesome to think about.
Yeah, we have one in Mexico. I have a girl that is sitting in a cabin in Starved Rock this week, but her parents didn't want her to miss school. So they take a 2.5-hour break to come to school.
There you go. Yeah. They said, think big, be audacious about this. And so why can't we include that in our vision to take our kids around the world, not just take them to the local museum, take them to the, you know, museum, the Louvre in Paris, or
the Guggenheim.
We can do that.
I think about all of the authors we've been able to connect with over the past several years via Zoom, via this kind of, and some of even the classrooms, through our reading specialist, she's connected us with classrooms that we've been able to do that. But think about, I mean, that was just a visit. Think about, like, they could be in a classroom, thanks to Google and all their updates, they could be in a classroom together, really facilitating those conversations versus, you know, lessons or just an author visit. They could be facilitating some of that learning.
But now for our vision, do we have to take all of those ideas and say what we want the outcome to be? Like, what is, I mean, I know what the point is, but what is the point of having all of this? Do we need to include something? Would we need to include that in our vision too? Like,
well, I think, you know, what's interesting is I think where Vince started with this kind of said it all. I think he said to drive engagement to the highest point possible. That's actually a beautiful vision statement, right? It's clean, concise, and it's like really out there. And then I think everything we're talking about, what would that do? That would drive engagement, right? How exciting it would be to come to school and have an author, in the room with you. How cool it would be to have, students that you're interacting with in another country, right? Like, I think just that engagement piece is really the unifying feature there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the ask is not necessarily to write the vision statement, but just what is the ask?
All right, the big ideas.
So like five big thoughts essentially. So we don't have to craft the vision statement, just kind of 5 big thoughts. I guess and so I'm typing as fast as I can here. So thank you. That means there's a lot of good thoughts going on. But like from a vision statement, and again, this may be too much to cram in, but so is it also engagement of teachers and staff? Because again, if you, looking at the teachers on the screen here, like if you all aren't engaged, you know, from either your principal, superintendent, you know, whomever, then it's probably more difficult for you to be engaging to your students. So is it, we have to create engaging students, but does that obviously starts with you all, but who does it start with?
So it's a global vision from the top down.
Yeah. So
it has to be buy-in on all levels, that global vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm agreeing with you.
I mean, that's one thing, I guess the one beauty of just saying drive engagement. If your mission talks a lot about your community and your vision is around engagement, by nature, that's the engagement of the community. It's the parents, it's the students, it's the teachers. If we're all working together and engaged, it will be a better outcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, every community member needs to be engaged. You know, the parents be part of it, the things like that.
And the way it's going, the way this has all opened up, it would be easy for the community to engage in the children's learning. It would definitely be much easier.
Well, and I think too, we want to, I mean, I originally saw student engagement as a means to increase student achievement, right? Like in the mission, we were talking about the potential of all students and how are we going to help all of our students achieve that potential. And so I think student achievement is something that it can mean different things to different kids. But that's certainly what our business is about, right? Like we want to raise the bar for all of our kiddos, and we do that through the engagement piece. So,
right.
Reaching their highest potential. They're pushing them beyond their highest potential.
And if you get them engaged, they're going to want to learn. They're going to say, tell me more.
Most definitely.
And we have to make sure that we have more for them. We have to think beyond where they're going to be thinking. And they're a bunch of smart little kids, so.
Sometimes smarter than me, I feel.
They're going to be thinking bigger than us.
Problems, and I'm like, whoop.
Their minds definitely will go, to the moon and beyond.
Yeah, I think an engaged student will always exceed expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and to Trent's point, really, like, go ahead. What's that, Lynn?
Oh, I said who feels safe in their environment. I think that's part of that as well. You talked about middle school. I'm a former middle school teacher too, and I have a middle schooler, and I'm watching some of that socialization and some of that, or lack thereof, and such. But he's a kid who does thrive in this environment for sure, because that piece is,
yeah. I mean,
but he's in a safe environment, and so that allows him to continue to excel.
It's exactly what we learned, right, when we studied to be teachers. If the basic needs are met, you know that you can then get to the actual teaching.
What is it, Maslow versus Bloom? No, Maslow.
It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that, but you have to have Maslow before you have
Blooms. Yeah.
Okay, I was right.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, you know, in this situation does not provide that for some students. And that's when, therefore kind of re-envisioning a combination of all of it is what's exciting.
Right. Yeah. It has to be a combination. My my grandson is thriving. My granddaughter, not so much.
Yep.
So it has to be some kind of happy combination.
So Trent, how are you doing on your five big thoughts? I don't want to leave you hanging here.
Yeah, no. So I got 4.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know. Vince, can I share?
Sure. If you go to hit the little present button there.
I think you have to
stop presenting.
What's that? Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm still presenting. It shows you how bad I am at this. All right, let me stop.
Dude, I do this for a living. This is just you need to stop presenting.
Oh, there's everybody.
I'm sorry, Paul. I was hogging the screen, so I can see you guys. I didn't realize I was hogging it. Sorry.
All I can see is letters.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So, Courtney, you can see I failed kindergarten because I have more than 10 words on my first one here. So you'll have to forgive me for that.
You're doing amazing. I just have to say goodnight to the kids.
Okay. So, so drive student, teacher, staff, parent, and community engagement to the highest level possible. Again, more than 10 words. Number 2, provide stellar student achievement through a diverse curriculum of education. Number 3, put a stamp on the future of education. 4, providing the safest environment for student achievement in a diverse world. And I could use help with number 5.
You know, maybe something you didn't capture maybe was this idea of really trying to leverage and build on what we learned this year, with, you know, the idea of the remote piece, somehow capturing that, like
technology piece,
and being able to take the kids global, you know, outside their community.
So maybe something like, so using
technology.
Globally.
Yeah.
Locally.
Yep. Using technology to teach locally and connect globally.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
Look at you. Don't say you didn't pass kindergarten.
Trent, the number 3, I wasn't sure exactly what that is. Can you just describe that a little bit more?
So there was discussion of like, how do we so someone had used the word kind of, how do we put a stamp on changing education, like as a district, such that when other districts, and I'm putting words in this person's mouth, but so when other districts would look at us, they kind of see the future of education is happening at CCS. So we can certainly suggest other ways that we can improve that one, because it's.
I think that's good. I mean, you can speak to it a little bit as we share, but that's good.
Okay.
You have about engaging the students.
Yeah, I think we want to include that word engage. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have it on one, and we can certainly put it in others. Because we used, I think engagement was probably the word that we used most throughout the discussion. So we should probably put it on several of them.
What about having something like, and this might be a whole nother exercise of a slogan or something, but you know, community schools with a global vision. No, I'm trying to think of I want to marry the two ideas of having those, not losing those community feel, but yet not limiting ourselves with that. So
the community feel with the global vision.
With a global vision. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just writing it down so we can capture it and then we can decide
Okay.
where it best goes. So
yeah.
okay.
Community school with a global vision. I like that.
Yeah.
You can also add engaging on number 2, maybe like through diverse and engaging curriculum, because depending on how we were talking about being engaged in the particular curriculum.
Okay. So I'm not familiar with Google. So how can I go into oh, there we go.
Up on top. Yep.
There we go. Okay. So provide stellar student achievement through
diverse and engaging curriculum.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Feel free to tell me no.
No, I like that.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's hit all the points we mentioned.
Should this be community district with a global vision? Community rather than school, community district with a global vision?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that goes back to our one district, one direction.
Right.
Or you could say, you could do, you could also make it plural, like CCSD, community schools with a global vision or something like that.
Okay.
I see a bumper sticker in the future with that.
Hey, Team 4, we could get some T-shirts made up real quick.
I got my Cricut right here. So
I was going to say, Courtney's been cranking out stuff on her Cricut.
I have one too.
We struggled week 1, but we're more than making up for it in week 2.
All right, we supposed to head back over now?
All right, I'm stopping recording.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and I don't have to do anything with this. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.